What up? I am back. We're continuing on with the Lethal Weapon franchise. I was gonna turn the fan off, but it's still kind of hot, so I'll just try to talk a bit louder over it. But Lethal Weapon 2 came out in 1989, so 2 years later, and I gotta say I do like it, and I rewatched it on it was Wednesday. I rewatched it. I really like it. I think I'm not a big fan of the apartheid stuff, and I don't watch this one as much as like let's say 1, 3, and 4, but I really do like the film. This stuff, the growth between more growth between Murtaugh and Riggs. I thought the bad guy was really good. He was like you really hated him. I think they did a good job of making him hateable. And the other bad guy was really hateable too. We find out about how Riggs' wife died, and you get a lot of good action sequences in this. So they clearly up the action, um, and the scale of it. I mean, that's what a sequel's supposed to do. It's supposed to like take the original story and like, okay, we're gonna make it bigger. So this film, before we kick off, cheers. But so the film starts with Martin Riggs and Roger Murtaugh in the middle of a chase. We get going pretty quick, and they're chasing two suspects who have a legal shipment of gold Krugerrands. It's African. This was in this time of apartheid. So we have a big chase in the beginning. Really fun sequence, I will say. And then of course they crash, um, and I think they ended up losing some of the money. Oh no, they get bailed out by a helicopter, and they realize this is bigger than just some low level. This is also where they're pretty much or we're introduced to Arjun Rudd, who's the bad guy of the movie. Um, I thought he did a really good job of being hateable. Like I think they got a really good dude who plays a hateable guy. So we're introduced to Leo Getz in the film, and when I rewatched this the first time, I was a little bit shocked. Like what? I thought Leo came in the third movie. Sorry about that. Sorry for the loud ass helicopter. Anyway, so I was shocked because I thought it was the third one that Leo Joe Pesci was introduced, and it was this one. And in my opinion, a great addition. I think Leo's an awesome character. I think he fits right in the scenes where they're together. So they introduce him the first time. They find him at a oh, there's also a scene where the bad guy sends his people over, and basically they threaten uh, Murtaugh. Like they kidnap. Well, they like basically say if you keep getting involved, we'll kill you. We know where you live. It's almost like yeah, we know where you live. So the bad guys are way more intimidating in this film. I will say. Um, you had a really funny scene where Murtaugh finds out his daughter was in a fucking condom. Man, that was funny. That was actually really funny. Um, so they have to protect Leo. So they meet Leo at this like really fancy hotel. Leo almost gets assassinated, and we have a fun like kind of just fall off a building, and then they find I'm assuming that's Arjun Rudd's house or like his hideout, and you have a fun little scene of like basically them beating up bad guys, and then they confront Arjun Rudd, and this is where we learn about the whole the cops can't do anything to him because he has diplomatic immunity, which I mean that line's gonna come up later. Um, and then you have another bad guy named Peter Vorts. He was a good one too because he's gonna be kind of important later. So, and pretty much the film is they're out with Leo, and you get the funny scene. They fuck you at the drive-through. Pretty funny. When they're at Subway, and so Murtaugh sends his family away, and he also Riggs throughout the film starts basically harassing the can't like the Arjun, like he would like run into him just to intimidate him. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty funny because this is where the apartheid stuff comes in, and while that's because basically the plan is Riggs wants to sneak in to the building, so Murtaugh and Leo set up like a distraction. And this is where we get the "you're black." I love just like the humor in this movie is fucking great. Like I could, and you still get that great saxophone in this movie, and basically, Riggs confronts Murtaugh, and fucking just have a great. It's just an all around funny film, and then throughout the film, also Riggs starts falling in love with. I'm trying to find the girl's name. Um, uh, Rika. So throughout the film, yeah, he like starts falling in love with this girl named Rika, who works for Arjun. Um, and then throughout the film, the cop basically they step up their the bad guys escalate things. So the cops that are work with Murtaugh and Riggs throughout the film, they start getting killed off separately, including the woman cop is actually she was the stepmom or the foster mom in Terminator 2 and Vasquez. So she's in a few. She was decent for the little part she had in. So yeah, throughout the film, the cops start getting killed, and Murtaugh finds this video where he really starts realizing that they're shipping basically drugs and funds. So two assassins try to attack Murtaugh. Murtaugh kills both of them, but they end up kidnapping Leo, and Riggs convinces Rika to come back with him to his house. So they hook up and have sex. Then the bad guy, they end up showing up at his house. You get a pretty cool action sequence where the bad guys show up at his house and they like shoot it. Or his mobile home. They shoot it to shit, and they seemingly escape, but then they end up getting he tries to drop her off at her house, but then they end up getting kidnapped. Both get taken, and it turns out Vorst is the one who killed his wife. And the way when Riggs finds that out, I'll admit this stuff is really good. Like when the moment he finds out, like credit to Mel Gibson, his performance when like he found out, like it was like a real reaction, like yeah. And it turns in so they seemingly handicap, and earlier in the film he's in like this one of those like the because they try to assassinate Riggs by drowning him in one of those. It's what they put crazy people in. I can't think of the name right now. But earlier in the film, he broke out because he could break his arm on like Will and then bring it back. So foreshadowing, they try to do that again, and he ends up breaking out. But he ends up seeing Rika dead, who's drowned, and then Riggs kills the two guards because he ends up getting back on the land. Calls Murtaugh and basically says, "No, I'm gonna kill these motherfuckers." And it becomes like an action film in the end there. So Murtaugh ends up going with Riggs, and they have to basically save Leo. You get a cool action scene where fucking Riggs fucking ties a hook to the because the house that's built on stilts. It's one of the like really fancy apartments out here in LA. So they end up pulling because Riggs is in his car and he ends up pulling it down. Really cool scene, and then Murtaugh shoots the bad guys, saves Leo. They tell Leo to leave because they got to go to the ship to confront the bad guys. And we have a cool little scene where they just basically have a shootout. They find the smuggled money and shit. Then we get a cool action sequence where they get in a car and drive out of a fucking one of those ceiling containers. It was a really cool scene, and then just basically final battle. Both of them just shooting people, and you have a kind of a cool fight between Riggs and Verst, and Riggs ends up killing Verst by I think he like shoots him in the knee, and then he drops a he stabs Verse, and then he drops a fucking container on him. It's like, oh shit, he definitely got revenge. And then Arjun shoots Riggs a couple times, and then Riggs comes, and then he gets his diplomatic immunity paper, and then screams diplomatic immunity. One of my favorite lines, and then fucking no with the quickness, fucking Murtaugh just shoots him, and it's like it's just been revoked. One of my favorite action movie quotes after like killing a bad guy. It's just so good, and it was built up too. Because throughout the film, Arjun was talking about how he basically you can't do shit. Like, you can't. He even said like you can't even give him a ticket, like a fucking parking ticket. It's like built up throughout the film, and then just fucking Murtaugh just kills him, and then the other cops show up, and yeah, the film, and they kind of laugh off. They make it seem like Riggs is gonna die, and to be honest, if they had ended it there, it would have been fine. But I'm happy they didn't though, because we wouldn't have gotten Lethal Weapon 3. So the film ends really. I like Lethal Weapon 2. I think the apartheid stuff bogs it down at times, but to be honest with you, you go you it gets very much just like your traditional Lethal Weapon movie. Like, just you get the fun banter between Murtaugh and Riggs, the banter between Murtaugh and Riggs and the other police officers. And I thought the other police officers were great characters, even if they were there just to get killed. I thought Arjun and Verse were great bad guys, especially Verse for Riggs. What the fuck? Fucking fly. Sorry about that. I don't know what that was. Anyway, and finding out Verts killed his wife, and like Riggs's reaction was like, it was real reaction. It was like, I like that they go more into that, so we learn about actually what happened to his wife. It was because Verse was ordered to kill Riggs, but it turns out he didn't kill Riggs, he killed his wife. So it's very like he by running her off like a cliff, if I remember. And I think he was a good bad guy, and then Arjun was just a piece of shit. And then throughout the film, the whole diplomatic immunity thing, and it comes back to bite him in the ass. Just an awesome movie. Like, I would give this film, I gave the first one a 10 out of 10. I would give this one an 8. I have fun with this. I do think at times I don't. It's just, the main reason is, I don't know. Maybe it's just I don't want to see that in my movies, but it's in the background. It's not in the forefront. It's mainly this guy Arjun is doing illegal shit. That's really what the issue is. And then, but yeah, this is a great film. I think this is also a great character film for Riggs. Like, we grow with his character, and now we know what happened to his wife, like, fully now. Because it's briefly mentioned in the first one, but that was more about his suicidal tendencies, not even really about. They don't go too into like she just said she died in a car accident. So I do like this film. I'll admit I don't watch this one as much, but I'll watch it, and I say you should too. I think you get more banter between Riggs and Murtaugh. The growing relationship between them. You have a good bad guy. The action scenes are really cool. I think Leo was a great addition, and it's crazy because Joe Pesci is such a trip because he can play like a super serious character, like. Because he can go from being a goofy character like he was, in Home Alone or in these movies, or he can be like a fucking tough gangster like he was in Goodfellas, or I think he was in Casino. He was in a lot of those, like, mob movies, and like, my God, he's a completely different character in those. But that's why I think Joe Pesci is a great actor. Like he's not just like I'm a comedic act, you know. So I think Leo was a great addition. But yeah, watch Lethal Weapon 2. Next week on Monday or tomorrow if I'm in the mood, we will review Lethal Weapon 3. If nothing comes up, I will do Lethal Weapon 3 tomorrow. We'll do 4 on Monday. But yeah, I love these movies. I'm gonna watch Lethal Weapon 3 probably tonight. So, but yeah, Lethal Weapon 2, 8 out of 10. So, cheers. But other than that, fuck Warner Brothers, fuck Disney, fuck James Mangold, fuck OneRing.net. Lethal Weapon 2 is awesome. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow, possibly, or Monday. Peace.